If you like savory stuff rather than sweet, then you are going to absolutely love this bread. And it's so easy to make. It's so delicious. We are going to use some cheese and we are going to use some dill. Yes, dill. And it's going to be absolutely delicious. Stay with me and let's make it. So to start the recipe, I dissolved 2 teaspoons of dry active yeast into a quarter cup of warm milk. Give it a stir. To mix it all together, I used a little bit of sugar, just a little bit of sugar, like a quarter teaspoon of sugar. To make the dough, I'm going to use between 2.5 and 3 cups of flour. I begin with 2 cups of flour, and I'm going to add the salt. Just stir it together. I'm going to break the egg into the milk. And give it a whisk together to break the egg. The yeast, which has foamed, I'm going to add this to my milk. And I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon of margarine to the flour. And I'm just going to work it in. Just mix it with the flour, crumble it together. Just until it's distributed into the flour. Doesn't take long at all. Just want to make sure that it's well distributed. And then I'm going to make a well and add my milk with the yeast and start to mix it all together. So we'll see how much flour, and I think it's gonna take the whole amount of flour. I'm going to add, another half of cup of flour and just mix all together to form a dough. It should, once the dough it's well knead, it should clean the sides of the bowl. So this dough is cleaning up really, really well. I'm going to remove it to my board here. So I haven't used all 3 cups. I still have a quarter cup left. So I'm going to remove the dough and just give it a few turns. And then we are going to set it aside to rest for 45 minutes. While the dough is resting, I'm going to make the filling. And I have here 250 grams of cottage cheese. This is store-bought, and in all honesty, I prefer my own made cottage cheese. If you never done cottage cheese at home and you want to try to make it, I have a very good recipe. Check out my video, making cottage cheese. And I also have 70 grams of feta. So I'm going to mix this together. So in total, you need about 350 grams, which is about 8 ounces, I believe, cheese in total. So cottage cheese and then feta, a mixture. And you can use more or less depending on your taste. Once you've done this, you can adjust it. I won't take an offense if you do adjust your recipe. We like feta, and feta is good, but if you use only feta, it can be too salty. So that's why you would need to mix it with cottage cheese, something that it's not salty. Now, because I have more cottage cheese than feta here, I'm going to add about half teaspoon of salt, and I'm using Himalayan salt. So half teaspoon of salt, and I'm going to add half teaspoon of garlic powder. And you can add, I'm using chives, dried chives. You can add green onions, scallions if you want, chopped green onions. if you want, I'm just going to add dried chives today. So I tried it both ways. The onion sometimes can be too strong, but this is a more milder flavor. And I'm going to also add just a teaspoon of dried parsley. And my main herb in this recipe is the dill. Now I have here probably three tablespoons of dill, and I keep my dill in the freezer. I chop it up and I keep it in my freezer because I don't always have dill. I'm not using a lot of dill to keep it in the refrigerator. It would probably go bad on me. So I like to chop up my dill and place it in the freezer, and it's just like fresh. It's just you chop it up. If you never used dill from the freezer, you are going to be surprised. It's just like fresh. It's just like fresh, and I have it all the time in my freezer. Sometimes I forget to buy, but mostly I like to have all the time dill in my freezer. So mix this all together, and I'm also adding about 75 grams of ghee to this mixture. You can add margarine if you want, but I like to use ghee whenever I can. So 75 grams, which is 2.5 ounces for my American friends. I have to convert it because here we use grams. But it's funny, actually, now talking about this. It's funny how when you go to the store, to the grocery, the prices of the produce is listed by pound. $4.99 a pound of grapes or $2.99 a pound of apples. It's not on kilograms, but yet we're using kilograms and grams for measuring. I don't know. It's weird. So I'm not used to ounces. I am used to grams. So there you go. So I'm using this potato masher to just bring everything together. Now, of course, you can use a blender or not a blender, a mixer or food processor if you like to bring this all together if it's easier for you. By the time I take out my food processor, and it has three parts. I don't know why, it's so weird. It has the main bowl, and then it has a cover, of course, and then if you don't put this third part inside on the top, it doesn't work anyhow. So by the time I take that out, and then I have to wash everything, so this is much easier. So this is just a good easy way. Mix everything together in a bowl using a potato masher. Okay, this is all done. And so I'm going to set it aside and see how my dough is doing. The dough has risen. It became double in size. And then I'm going to put it on a floured board. And then I'm going to divide it into very nice soft dough. I'm going to divide it into and just make it into a ball. This is one, and then this is the other one. Just make it into a ball, which I'm going to roll out to about 13 inches all the way across. This is a very nice dough. Right. You can turn it over so it doesn't stick. If you do it too long on one side, it may stick, so it needs a little bit of flour. Of the dough is all rolled out. So now I'm going to transfer it to my baking sheet, which I put a parchment paper on, and I'm going to do the same thing with my other half. transfer my pastry. I'm going to roll it up on my rolling pin. And it happened exactly what I said. You need to turn it over once in a while, because if it doesn't have flour enough, it's going to stick. So that's exactly what it happened. It was sticking to my board. So you need to use flour to make sure that it doesn't stick to the board, or you won't be able to lift it up. Okay, so let's give this another try. We'll make it. No worries. In the kitchen here right now is very warm. So the dough is softened. Okay, so roll it up like this. And then I'm putting this down and just put it on my baking sheet like this. Perfect. And I can roll it a little bit out more here to arrange it, to make it more circle. Just like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you will see in a minute why. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is done. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to roll my other half of the dough. There is my second half of the dough, and there is my husband sneaking into the fridge, but we'll ignore him and keep going with our dough. Okay, my second half of the dough is all rolled out. If you find that you are receiving value, do me a favor and hit the likes button and subscribe to my channel. It would really help me out. Thank you for being here and for watching and being part of my community. I appreciate you. Okay, second half is done. And go to my first layer. And now we are going to spread the cheese filling that we did all over this piece of dough. Feel that the filling is too dry, you can add a little bit of heavy cream, or 1 or 2 tablespoons, not a lot because you don't want it too thin. But if it's something that you can, because you need to spread it out. So if you feel like it's too dry and you won't be able to spread it out, just add 1 or 2 tablespoons of half and half or heavy cream, whatever you have on hand. Even sour cream is fine. So we are going to spread it, and I think I need this little spatula. Oh, this works like a charm. I spread the filling on the first layer, and now I'm going to put this layer on top. I need to move. I have no more room, so I'm gonna do this and put it on top of my first layer like this. And then you can arrange it. The dough is very forgiving. And now we are going to do, this is a 4-inch bowl. I'm gonna put it in the center, and we are going to cut it into 16 wedges. And you can use a roller cutter, or you can use a knife like this, whichever works for you. So you can remove this, you can stamp and then remove it, and you see the indentation, so don't go more in. I like to remove it, so with a knife you can get closer to it, but with the roller you cannot really get that close to it. So okay, and we are going to cut it, so each one gets cut into 4 wedges. So cut it in 2. I find this easier to make them more equal, and then in 2 again. This is so much fun. So cut in half and then in half again. And now what we are going to do, take two and twist it in the opposite direction twice and then bring it back. Just like that. So two in the opposite direction, once, twice, and then bring it. 1, 2, and bring it back. Do you like my recipe so far? Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. All done, and now I'm going to cover it and let it rest for another 20 or 30 minutes. It's warm in the kitchen, so it might not take that long. And then we are going to bake it. But there is one more step, so stay with me to the end to see it how I finished this nice bread. My savory bread is right here covered. Ooh, looks good. Before I bake it though, I'm going to brush it with an egg wash. And an egg wash is basically just egg whisked together with a splash of milk. Now I'm going to brush it with this egg wash. This is going to make it golden and delicious flavors of cheese, the feta, and the dill. I love dill. If you don't like dill, then you can leave it out and add the same herbs that I added, but leave out the dill, and you can add sliced green onions instead of dill and leave the dill out. It won't be the same exact, but if you don't like dill, some people, they don't care for dill. So that's why I'm giving you another option. But I really recommend trying this bread. And this bread is so wonderful for a get-together, a Saturday night, a movie night, sharing. Somebody comes by and you just want a cup of tea and something savory to go with it. This is perfect, absolutely perfect to make it like, and everybody can take a little slice of it, a little veg of it, and it's just so good and so delicious. Okay, and now I like to sprinkle some of seeds. I have here a mixture of white sesame, black sesame. I have also some ground sunflower seeds. So we sprinkle this on the bread. It just gives it a little nice finish. Again, you can leave this out if you don't care for. We are going to pop this in the oven and bake it for about 30, 35, 40 minutes maybe, until it's all golden. Ooh. Look at this bread. It has cooled enough, it's still warm, but I want to have a taste. Oh, look at that. Oh. So good. Look at this. Soft and fluffy. If you like savory, you need to try this recipe. Try it and let me know what you think. And then please like and share and subscribe to my channel and come back again for another great recipe. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.